weeks.
Mm.
Because, reasons.
Mm-hmm.
We spent 1 week ripping on WotC for their uh, declining into crappy mobile game developer business practices, and then the next week just throwing off on racism. So
Mm-hmm.
it's been a fun couple of weeks on Monday Night Magic. Is it weird that punching like a big ass company like Wizards of the Coast feels like punching down?
Maybe because it's felt like they've been such huge foul ups the last several years.
See the difference when I hit record? He said foul ups.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, you guys. Oh wait, he said Mike might sound a little high. But hey, everybody else, now that you're responding, how do we all sound? Scott Fry said Mike might be a little high. We were busy laughing at that and not actually.
Yeah, I forgot to address it.
Yes, is Mike's volume still a little bit up there? Because I can knock him down a bit if he is. Hey, Mike, say something.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Brian, say something.
Hey, how are you doing?
See, now, to me, in my ears, Brian seems a little low. But that's just me.
And it might be I could be wearing my headset differently, and the microphone is slightly closer to my mouth. Maybe that's why I sound a bit different.
Okay, Fan says agrees with me that Brian's a little low. So let me... Okay, there we go.
La 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 la.
Wait a minute. Hey, Brian, did you move your microphone at any point? You did
Nope.
when we first got on.
Yes, since then I have not moved it.
Okay, could you move it a little, just a tiny bit closer, or something?
How about this? How about that?
I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. Does he? Does he sound better now? Brian, keep talking.
This is so I should keep talking so people can figure out if this is a good volume or not. And I'd like to take a minute to filibuster and tell you about why exactly. I actually don't feel too passionate about anything right now.
Why exactly you became the Prince of Bel Air? Okay.
Man, now that's
I whistled for a cab.
Lord. All right, so that's all settled. Let's do this. Ow, jam. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Mana Pool. It has been a hot minute since we record. Yeah, we have not done a Mana Pool episode. The last one went public on May 24th.
We've just been doing chats with each other.
Yeah, we did the Just Chatting stream on the 28th, and then last week we just didn't. We just hopped on a call and vented at each other for like 2 hours. So, because last week, honestly, the last thing the world needed was 4 white guys weighing in on anything. Or 3 white guys and Mike.
Thank you.
Yeah. But it's 4 white guys.
Again, just because the government says I'm white doesn't mean it's true.
Do you identify as non-white, Mike?
Yeah, since I was a little kid.
He does, yeah. Luckily, we still didn't talk last week.
Luckily, Chewie is here to remind me otherwise.
I saw some idiot posting online about how Jesus had to be white, and somebody was like, "Well, at best he probably would have looked Mediterranean and Greek," and the guy was like, "Yeah, so white," and I'm like,
Wow.
Right. Hey, who are you guys? Because I'm Brian, and I don't like racists. I also talk a lot.
I'm Chewy, and I don't like racists.
I'm Mike. I don't like racists either.
Look at that.
Now, I don't mean now. I realize that given what's going on these days, all that crap I just said is really awful. But it's a running joke that we've had with Mike, and Mike would actually. I hope Mike would tell me, "Hey, stop making that joke because you're a dick." And then I would go, "I'm so sorry," and I would.
Yeah.
So, apologies, Mike, if that's ever made you go.
No.
But yeah. Now you'll notice there's only 3 of us. Dirk just didn't appear. We hope he's okay.
Yeah, I've poked at him. Chewie's poked at him and tried to call him. So
yeah. So we don't know. We hope everything's all right with the family or with whatever, or he's like not out of power. I don't know. It didn't go straight to voicemail, which means his phone is on. Right? Because if your phone's off, it just goes straight to voicemail, right?
yeah, it should. Yeah.
But we don't know, and I'm actually concerned, but I don't know what else to do. So we just decided to wait a while, and if he didn't show, we will just start the show. Hopefully he'll appear later and be like, "Oh my God, here's the thing," and we'll be like, "Oh." But anyway, so hi. Yeah. Racism bad, and I would like to point out, because I don't think that we have said this on this show because it's been so long since we actually recorded an actual Manipool episodes. But hey, Black Lives Matter. Just in case you weren't aware, we very much fall on that side of things. So if you hear that and your first thought is to roll your eyes, kindly stop listening now and die in a fire. Now, now that we've gotten
America, yes.
Wait, what about America?
America. I said this makes us traitors to America, apparently. So.
Oh, that guy.
Don't give him
Anyway,
more hits. So.
So yeah, we're now that we've run off all the bad people. Not that anybody who listens to this show is the bad people, because we have just the best audience ever.
Yes.
And so yeah, but yeah, since we last recorded, the society has turned to upheaval, and it's kind of awesome. There have been protests across the country and then across the world for Black Lives Matter and against police brutality, and it's just been amazing. And if you follow me on Twitter, you know all this, because my Twitter feed has turned into see an injustice, retweet it to spread the word. Pretty much. Not exclusively, but that's a lot of it. Yeah. Anytime I see any sort of recording of police doing horrible things, yep, that's getting retweeted. Or when I see the police tweeting blatant lies, yeah, that's getting retweeted. There's been a lot of that lately. It's almost like they're the problem. But yeah. So okay. Are we good on that, or do we want to dwell for a minute? Are we good?
I think we're probably good.
Okay.
Mike?
Yeah, and because I know people are thinking it, so yes, that policeman, that policewoman, that's a great person, does their job well, okay, great for them, but they're part of a corrupt, broken institution. Sorry, they are.
Yeah.
There might be a politician that you really like, but I don't think anybody would go to say politics, especially in America, is a wholly incorruptible and stalwart institution. So, yes.
And neither are police. I don't know where the politician thing came from, but yes, that too.
Just to say,
Another example.
Another example.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Also, I'm just saying that if Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez doesn't run for president in the next 12 years, there's a problem. just throwing that out there. But anyway, right. Okay, enough of that. Now that's run off the rest of the people who are like, we can tolerate all of this virtue signaling. But as soon as you say something good about AOC, they don't like it. So,
Peace. Side note,
right.
I love the phrase virtue signaling because it basically automatically says, oh, even if you're saying the right thing, you don't really mean it. So
yeah. Don't get me started on all of that. But so given all of this, we need to talk about Wizards of the Coast. Now, for a much more in-depth discussion on all of this, go listen to the last episode of Monday Night Magic, which was episode... Hang on. 692, A Pattern Emerges. I came up with that name all by myself. Where we went into great detail, but over the last couple weeks, there have been a couple of articles written that either point out or expose various, let's say, various lacks of diversity, both in the story and in the player base and in the management, the design team. There aren't that many black people in Wizards of the Coast, and then pointed out some a second article pointed out a bunch of various hang on, it fell out of my brain. Institutional racism in WotC about just not hiring black people. Just even though they tell them, hey, we're good. Yeah, hey, I've never had. What was one story? I've never had so many internal recommendations for you, and then a few minutes later, you're just not a good culture fit here. But yeah, there's a lot. And then there was the whole discussion about Invoke Prejudice.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So I personally have poked fun at Invoke Prejudice, not because I'm like, yeah, that's great, I'm glad we're doing this, but it was more along the lines of like, oh my god, can you believe they printed it? Just like when I see art, not this art, but other art on cards, and I'm like, how did that make it past the editors? Because, that's ridiculous. So
like
more
the
in
monkeys
that
having sex on is that a Tabi orangutan?
Right. Or the ogre cyclops thing that there's like 5 phallic symbols in there and it's just ridiculous. So stuff like that.
Cyclops.
What's that?
It couldn't do Cyclops.
Probably. I don't have it memorized. I don't stare at it. But more in the vein of like, holy cow, how did this get published kind of thing. So I've been aware of the card Invoke Prejudice for most of my Magic career. But
because it's one of those things when you see it, you're like, what the hell?
You're
and
like,
then you forget about it.
At first, you gotta be like, okay, what like angsty 12-year-old Photoshop this onto a Magic card? And they're like, no, this is real. And you're like, oh, and then you read what it does, and you're like, oh.
Chewy, I remember when you were still the content editor for Card Shark, someone submitted some kind of angry article about Invoke Prejudice, but you had to reject it just because it was so poorly written.
Oh my god, you're right.
Yeah, and you shared it with me, and you're like, check this out. And I'm like, gosh.
Yeah, I think they were trying to make salient points, but it was
very poorly written.
I only have the vaguest recollection of this, but yeah, I seem to remember that it wasn't even something I could salvage as an editor.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it was really, really, really short too.
Very short, yes.
Chewy just holding the free voices of people down.
I was actually, yeah. But yeah. Also, it doesn't help that we debunked this on Monday Night Magic, but the multiverse ID, the Gatherer URL for Invoke Prejudice was an actual like white supremacist like number
You
symbol
don't have
that they use.
you don't have to say what the number was. I certainly don't want to like trigger anybody, but I heard somebody say that, and I did not like. I don't know. I didn't realize that word was that significant. I don't.
Yeah, you have to know to know.
Yeah.
That's why it's so useful as a dog whistle.
Yeah, and a lot of people looked it up and were like, "What?" And I saw conspiracy theories flying around everywhere. Like I said, we debunked this on Monday Night Magic. It was an amazing coincidence. Like,
But unfortunate.
an unfortunate like if it was something funny, we would be laughing about it. Like, also on Monday Night Magic, I typed in the multiverse ID 666, and it's Lich.
Are you kidding?
Nice.
But then I typed in the multiverse ID 69, and it's Lich. It's a different printing. See, that's an amazing kind of coincidence, and we laugh about it. But the Invoke Prejudice one was not. It was an unfortunate. It's like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
But there are features in Gatherer that don't work and have never worked, and they just never fixed them. So honestly, when we were done talking about this on Monday Night Magic, we were like, they'll probably never do anything. And then 2 days later, they did a thing.
What thing did they do, Chewy?
They where is it? Here we go. So they issued this statement: depictions of racism in Magic, and they said we're very sorry. We're going to try to do better. And they just straight up removed the images from the database for the following cards: Invoke Prejudice, obviously; Cleanse, which if you like look at.
They say racist or culturally offensive. Some of these they took out just because they're just way too touchy, given what their name and what they do.
I mean, yeah. If Cleanse was named anything else, it would be fine. But it says destroy all black creatures, and it's called Cleanse. Not cool. Because when do you ever hear the word cleanse? Other than like a toilet bowl commercial. Well, with the word ethnic in front of it. So, yeah.
Cultural cleanse, yeah.
Oh, and the flavor text references foul beasts. Oh, see? Yeah.
I was a little sad to see Crusade on the list because that's a decent card. And Crusade can, mean a couple different things, but it also has a historical context. So,
yeah. So the other cards are Stone Throwing Devils, which is on there for. Let's see. This one was for.
Yeah, it's a very old, obscure racial slur.
Well, also it's an inversion of a practice in the Islamic religion.
Right, when you go to throw stones at the devil.
Yeah, and this turns it around. So the devils are throwing the stones at the. It's just not good. Mm-hmm. The Pradesh Gypsies, if you don't know, gypsy, it turns out is a racial slur. Kind of.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
short for describing the people as Egyptian, when they're not.
Jihad, which I have seen a couple of responses to this from people of the Islamic faith going, I don't know about that one, man. But, here it is. And Imprison. I don't remember seeing that one on the list.
I think it's the specifics of the art itself. Like, I saw this earlier today. It was still visible on Scryfall. Like, I don't know if they took that out, but the art itself seems to show an imprisoned. black person or other person of color.
Oh, okay.
So that's the art is just too touchy.
So yeah, all of the art for all of these have been removed from Gatherer. Oh, the card images, not the art, but the card images, and they've dropped in the following statement: Ahem. We have removed this card image from our database due to its racist depiction, text, or combination thereof. Racism in any form is unacceptable and has no place in our games nor anywhere else. Now, I'm sure that statement, which has caught some flack already, will get probably tweaked. So,
What is there that's objectionable about that statement?
well, because not all of these are racially charged.
Yeah,
Some
it's
of
not
them
for
are.
racism specifically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of them are due to insulting religious things and whatnot. But then there's this bombshell here. Additionally, these cards will be banned in all sanctioned tournament play.
Well,
just so some jackwagon can't be like, I'm gonna play this card just to own the libs or whatever. Nope, no you won't. Get the hell out.
I also wonder if it's part of a greater policy of you need to any card that you can play in a tournament, you need to be able to verify with Gatherer, right?
No, it just needs to be legal.
Oh,
Magic
okay.
card.
I thought part of it was because you cannot verify the card anymore via
well, no, the cards are still in Gatherer, just the card image has been removed.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
So it will still say, this is this card and this is what it does.
Yeah.
I misread it.
They're also going to change, or at least I think, they're going to change the Multiverse ID for Invoke Prejudice, although it doesn't say that somewhere, but I saw people talking about it. So maybe they said that on Twitter or something. I don't know. But yeah, there we go. The Commander Rules Committee also said, yep, we're banning those too. So there you go.
Alrighty then.
Not that anyone was playing any of these cards.
No.
Well, nobody that we know.
I mean, none of them are actually good cards, really. So, except for
Crusade
maybe Crusade, but there are so many things that do exactly what Crusade does, but better.
Yes.
Wasn't Crusade printed again in
one of the core sets? Yeah,
multiple times. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that one I could see people playing.
But
there are better versions of it.
There are still better versions of the card that do the same thing, but better. So, it was Elspeth versus Tezzeret. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. It also got new art in 5th edition.
Everything got new art in 5th edition, though, so that doesn't matter. But
6th edition. It wasn't in 6th edition, was it? I think that was Glorious Anthem.
No.
Oh,
I don't think Glorious Anthem had been introduced yet.
6th edition was classic, which,
Oh, it's in the first... Thank you, St. Seigel. It's in the first sentence. Today we will be changing the Multiverse ID. Oh. I didn't even catch the first sentence.
It's hard to read.
It is, dude. I skim over things all the time. Because most of the crap that WotC puts on their website, most of it doesn't matter. So I've just trained myself to not actually read anything that WotC puts on their website.
I used to read the Mothership. I really did. I have not consistently in a while. So
it's just really low content.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a thing that happened yesterday, which is, to be fair, in the greater context of the, institutionalized racism that is apparently a thing at Wizards of the Coast, this is literally nothing. But it does show willingness to do something.
Yes.
So hopefully this isn't the sweeping changes. This is the baby step at the beginning.
Right.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Again, I have been down on Wizards of the Coast for quite some time now, so I'll believe it when I see it. But
I remain hopeful. Or
Indeed.
maybe it's the stubborn part of me. See, us bakers, we are a stubborn people, and contrary to the core, and years of Watsy is killing magic have built up this reservoir in me of they'll pull through. They always pull through. Now we're talking about something that's not card design. We're talking about human decency. That's a little harder to like learn, if it's not already there. But I remain hopeful. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's why bakers always make an extra donut.
It's true.
Yeah.
That was my idea, by the way.
Oh
Look
my
it up.
God. So
If it doesn't say Brian, it's probably fake news. So yes,
that's that. Hopefully, Watsy will continue to improve, and maybe actually hire some brown people to work in some departments. That would be nice, but maybe not.
And give them a fair shake when they do.
Also that, yeah. Like I said, for much more in-depth discussion on all of that, with lots of examples, go listen to Monday Night Magic this week. It was it was a doozy. All right, so there's one more thing we need to talk about. We don't really cover the banned and restricted stuff, but hey, if you know this already, Agents of Treachery and Fires of Invention were banned in Standard and suspended in Historic. But that's not what we want to talk about. We want to talk about the companion rules change. Holy crap. I do want to point out, though, that Mike, way back when we talked about Fires of Invention on a preview episode, Mike said something to the effect of, "This could be a real card." Ding! It got banned in Standard. It's a real card, Mike. You win.
I admit I was not like, I was kind of like, oh, this is kind of neat design space, and then seeing it in action a couple times, I'm like, this is highly oppressive and a problem. So
yeah, I think when we had that discussion, by that time it was just me and Mike. I think you and Dirk had already gone to bed.
That sounds like
you didn't even get to weigh in. I don't think. I really hope Dirk's okay.
Likely.
Really concerned about Dirk.
Yeah.
But okay, so companion rules change because companions, in case you don't know, companions were running roughshod over all the formats.
Yes, every last one.
Like, except for Commander, which doesn't count. Like, companions were all over, and I mean all over, as BDM might say. All the formats were festooned with companions.
Is it really that bad? I haven't
was
some coverage in forever. So.
Like Standard, Modern, Historic. I'm pretty because didn't Luris get suspended in Historic?
I don't know.
Okay, maybe not Historic, but
Winota did later.
Well, yeah, that was just a couple days ago, actually. But even all the way, like Modern, all the way to Legacy and Vintage. The format that doesn't change. The Vintage was playing Luris decks. And they actually had to ban Luris. Because you don't ban things in Vintage, you restrict them. But because people were playing one in the sideboard for, the companion thing, restricting it literally didn't do anything. So they had to ban it. It's the first card that wasn't banned for, like, what was it? Gambling or physical dexterity or logistical reasons.
Yeah.
In a very long time. Gambling is anti-cards, and things like Doom...
Chaos Orb.
Chaos Orb and Falling Star. Yeah. Logistical reasons is Scheherazade, and I guess you could call the conspiracies logistical reasons because they're supposed to be used for drafting.
Yeah, well, those are more banned because they don't make sense. So
Yeah, some of them just don't make any sense.
Just go ahead and just stop that and nip that in the bud. But that wasn't for like power level reasons. That was just just stop. It doesn't work. Don't try it. They just did that ahead of time. But like this was because it was way too everywhere. So we actually named that episode of Monday Night Magic "Luris is a Bad Kitty" because we couldn't think of a better title that summed it up. So yeah. And yeah, but they didn't touch, if I remember correctly, they didn't touch standard or did they touch modern with the last banning? There've been so many bannings these days I can't remember. And also
I don't remember the date of that previous announcement.
You know, a lot of other more important things happened, so I sort of stopped paying attention. Hang on, let's go look. I happen to have it bookmarked. May. Okay, Luris was banned in Legacy. Okay, no, nothing got banned in Standard or Modern. It was just Legacy and Vintage. Right. Oh, and Brawl, where they banned Winota.
That's right.
That makes sense. That makes a whole lot of sense. I mean, because even with Brawl limited to the standard, card pool, still utterly ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
Yeah. So, since companions were just running actually roughshod across all the formats, they decided, instead of just banning a bunch of commanders in all companions in all formats, they would just change how companions work. Which is crazy. We've talked about this off the air. I asked Mike, have they ever changed a mechanic because it was too good? And Mike had one example.
Yeah, the only example I could come up with was from Urza Block, the free cast mechanic in the version that showed up on Creatures, where stuff like Great Whale and Cloud of Fairies, printed text says when they enter the battlefield, untap however many lands. So of course people started abusing Great Whale with Recurring Nightmare because Recurring Nightmare is absurd.
Mm-hmm.
They changed it. They gave it the creature's power level errata, saying it only worked when you cast it from your hand. That's it. But otherwise, like on
Brian, no dying.
Sorry.
Otherwise, like on Time Spiral and Frantic Search,
yeah,
and spells, it stayed the same. And I can't remember what they did, but there was power level errata on the creatures that they later reverted.
Yeah, and that's the key part. They later reverted it. It's not because it's not that way anymore. Mike said that, and I went, but that's not how it works. He goes, no, not anymore. I went, oh, because they did away with power level errata.
Yeah. And they've done power level errata to individual cards plenty of times. That was the only one I could think of that I would call a mechanic. Now, that wasn't a named mechanic, but it was a mechanical theme in blue, in Urza Block.
I think it counts.
Oh yeah, totally. But so they've changed. I've had this up on the screen forever now, but now instead of once per game you can cast it from your sideboard, now it's once per game. At sorcery speed, you can pay 3 mana to put your companion from your sideboard into your hand. And it's a special action. You can't be stopped or countered in any way whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay, now I have hiccups again. I apologize. But that adds a sorcery speed 3 mana tax to your one companion usage.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is huge for the faster ones, like, I don't know, Luris.
Mm-hmm.
But less huge for the more controlly ones like Yorian.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
yeah, so I haven't paid any attention honestly since this happened to know if Yorian decks are still all over the place or not. But like this is just massive.
Yeah, this is a big change. This is not a oh well, it's functionally still the same thing. No. I was telling Chewy when I heard the news, I was like, this is why we can't have nice things. Because it doesn't ruin it, but especially for the smaller ones, I was like, well, it makes them a lot less attractive, and I get that that's the point. But this either means, oh, we're greedy Magic players for finding an easily exploitable thing and exploiting it, or it means they didn't test these enough. And goes on my running theme of, are we really having too many cards banned in standard? Not too many cards, but are we letting too many cards in standard that are so strong enough they have to be banned? It's great that they're pushing the boundaries with what they're experimenting with and power levels and all that, but banning cards is not a good idea. Like, just in general, telling people that a card that they own they can't play and they may have spent money on is not a great thing to do a lot, and now we're doing it more. So,
Well, part of that is, I think, a shift in some, at least I hope, this is me trying to be charitable to Watsy, a shift in some design perspective where instead of never rock the boat ever, they're like, all right, let's try to push some things, and if it's too much, we have the ability to ban things, we should use it.
and I get that, but I don't think it's something we want to rely on too.
Yeah. Like, they said that Oko, different pieces of Oko were changed independently up until very late in the process, and no one just looked at how the whole card played, like, on the whole, because they would focus on the one part that was most recently changed and be like, okay, that seems all right. And I can totally see that happening with a card as complex as Oko.
yeah, especially if it keeps changing late into development.
Exactly. But, like, this isn't...
Yeah, for something that has a very distinctive element about it that should throw a flag. It's like, hey, watch out for this. Those are the ones that are kind of aggravating to see show up and mess things up and then get banned. Like the whole extreme consistency element of the companion mechanic. That's extreme consistency hurts hurts gameplay.
It does.
And you need to watch out when you introduce something like that. Especially if you make, the card itself good with, a very compelling ability and the deck building restriction that you're putting alongside of it isn't too much to ask for.
Yeah. Like,
You-
play
some of these-
Commander.
Yeah. Yeah, for some of these, like, let's pick on Luris some more. That deck building restriction, there are a lot of decks that just you would turn out that way anyway. you know? So now you build that deck and start with an 8th card in your hand. It's like, whoa, worse. hmm
Excuse me, I've got Luris on screen just in case anyone hasn't been paying attention. But this is the one where during each of your turns you may cast one permanent spell with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard. But the companion requirement is each permanent card in your starting deck has converted mana cost 2 or less, which is lots of vintage and legacy decks already.
Already, yeah.
So like, okay, just it's a free. It's like putting the blue red elemental otter in a commander as a commander companion. Like, all right, it's
Yeah.
free. There's literally no reason not to. That got banned in that format too.
Yeah, we got a question in the chat. Do you think it's better that Wizards of the Coast swing for the rafters and fix stuff afterwards, or should they play it safer moving forward? Aiming high is fine. Aiming high is fine, but they need a better system of, hey, look out for this, look out for this, that, and the other thing, and pay closer attention when you see those qualities on a card.
I would also say, in a very, I think, essentially agreeing with Mike, swing for the rafters, being willing to experiment is great. Not learning from your mistakes is not. Just like not paying attention to what's gotten you in trouble before.
Yes.
Story of my life.
Extreme consistency, circumventing the mana system, stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah, the biggest problems always seem to be things being free.
Mm-hmm.
In Hearthstone, in Magic, there's a reason stuff costs stuff. And if you get around the stuff costing stuff, oh look, you had to get rid of Winota in Historic and in Brawl. You had to get rid of Fires of Invention in Standard.
And
come on, man.
Once Upon a Time in Standard.
Yep.
Oh my god, yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
The Smuggler's Copter banned in Standard?
Yeah.
Eventually. That was just too strong all around. I'm a little more forgiving about Smuggler's Copter since they wanted to make a cool flashy card for vehicles.
Well, we never had vehicles.
It just had too much stats. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, whoops, wrong link. There we go. So yeah, they just changed how Companion works entirely, which, as a reminder, going back to Luris here, means that the reminder text doesn't apply anymore properly.
It doesn't give the whole story.
Yeah. The reminder text. Now remember, the reminder text is just that. It's a reminder text. It's not like official rules or anything. But it says, if this card is your chosen companion, you may cast it once from outside the game, which is not the case anymore. Now you can pay some mana to get it inside the game, and once per game, and then you can cast it. So, yeah. Jay Spencer said in the chat, so weird to get to say that Smuggler's Copter was one of the least egregious cards to get banned in the last few years. Right? Damn, yeah. That's eerie.
Yeah, that was one of those things where it was just, it was just too good not to play. And the format's degenerated into just copters flying at people's faces at every table.
Man, I'd love to see the live-action version of that movie.
Right? I was just thinking that. something, Predator drones. All right, let's move on.
It's kind of thinking of something in the vein of, like, snakes on a plane, but, copters at your face.
I'm tired of these monkey-fighting copters on this Monday to Friday plane.
You got it.
Which is still the best television censorship ever. Don't at me.
Oh yeah, without any doubt. Right. So.
All right. So that was the companion rules change. It's so big we have to mention it at the very least, because that's not a thing that's happened. At least not in a very long time. So all right. But the rest of the news is Core Set 2021.
Yes.
Yay.
And there's some big things you can see right here on screen. We've got a new Planeswalker, Bosriket. We've got Creature Dog.
Yes. All hounds are now dogs.
Yeah, apparently all hounds are going to be dogs now. Oh, look, Baneslayer Angel. You remember that time Baneslayer Angel was reprinted and no one cared?
Well, so Baneslayer Angel, when she was printed in M11, was the hot mess for like a year. And you know what they printed in M12?
The Titans.
The Titans.
Man,
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. Baneslayer is still a ridiculously good card. Baneslayer Angel for the same cost as a Sarah Angel. It does not care at all about Sarah Angel. Baneslayer for 3 and 2 white is a 5/5 Angel. She's definitely mythic with flying, first strike, lifelink, and protection from demons and from dragons, which is randomly good sometimes, but it's a 5/5 flying, first striking, life linking for 5 mana. Still ridiculously good, still overstated, undercosted, all that good stuff. It's just that, and keep bear in mind, before the Titans were introduced, this thing was a go-to finisher in standard for a year, which just is less about how not great she is and more about how stupid the Titans are because they're stupid.
Yeah, because when the Titans showed up, people were like, Bane who?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Which,
yeah. Then
again,
Baneslayer Angel fell by the wayside with everything else that didn't have an immediate impact on the board.
right.
So
that's
maybe she'll
Baneslayer.
be a thing again. Who knows?
Yeah. It's the possibility.
But okay, let's talk about the new Planeswalker.
Yes.
Dang it! How come everything's always so tiny? Well, now that cuts off the side. Oh, Lord have mercy, Wizards website. All right. So Basri Cat. I have actually, believe it or not read this. So
right.
I'll just read this. So Basri Cat, for 1 white, is a legendary Planeswalker Basri. I think that's how you say his name.
I think you're probably right.
Yes.
Oh God, Brian thinks it's right. Okay, but so does Mike. All right, who?
Well, I mean, it could be Basri. It could be Basri. Whichever. Just pick one.
Mr. Ket.
Yeah, Burger King here. BK.
Yes.
There we go. Starts with 3 loyalty. +1. All right. It's very tiny. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature. It gains indestructible until end of turn. Okay.
Cool.
That's neat. -2. Whenever 1 or more non-token creatures attack this turn, create that many 1/1 white soldier creature tokens that are tapped and attacking. Things getting thrown into play tapped and attacking is a big deal here lately. Have you noticed this?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's her name did it way back in a Commander set.
Kali of the Vast.
Yeah.
Mike's
And I remember thinking, man, that's awful. And they just keep doing it. And then the limit break is -6. You get an emblem with. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token, then put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. That's a hell of an emblem.
I like it.
Yeah. Not bad, considering this guy costs 3 and starts with 3 loyalty. There's not really a way to cheat up that that loyalty, like there's no +2s or anything like that. But hey, when the default +1 is make a guy bigger and make it indestructible, seems pretty good. If that creature happens to have vigilance, then it's blocking for Mr. Ket and getting bigger at the same time.
Aha, fixed it.
So he is from Amonkhet.
Yes, he is.
His weapon that he has trained himself to use, apparently, read an article about the design of this guy. He was completing the Trial of Solidarity, which is the White God's trial. And he had completed it, and as a sign of victory, he was gifted an arrow of the god. Which one was the white line? Oketra. And in that moment, he was so elated and he felt like he accomplished his life's mission, his spark ignited, which most of the time when your spark ignites, it's because something terrible happened to you. But every now and then it's a feeling of extreme emotion. It can be positive, and he found himself in a new place, and he has trained himself to use Oketra's arrow as like a melee weapon, which is kind of badass, honestly. So he has a unique way of fighting. And his theme, in case you can't tell, is +1/+1 counters and giving creatures +1/+1 counters and soldiers. So a little bit of indestructible there, but he doesn't feel like Gideon 2.0, which is nice. I'm glad. If he just felt like, oh, it's another Gideon, then I'd be like, yeah, I can get down with this. What do you think, Chewy?
Yeah, he's sure. He's pretty neat.
All right then. Okay.
Let's see. We have more planeswalkers. Have we seen more planeswalkers yet? Yeah, we've got Teferi.
Remember, we haven't
we're
talked about
also planeswalker deck planeswalkers.
We haven't talked about any preview cards so far because we didn't talk about this last week at all. So we've got Teferi, and we have Liliana, and we have Chandra, and
there's Garrick.
Yeah, I mean Garrick, and Ugin. Hey, guess what? Ugin the Spirit Dragon is back.
Yay, the Ugin! Look at him.
All majestic.
He's like, look at me, I'm the Ugin, and you can shut the. Oh, okay.
Right.
All right, so Teferi.
This guy. Hey, Mike, what's this guy do?
So this guy, okay. I'll just start with this. All the rest of the text on this card, you have to remember this part. You may activate loyalty abilities of Teferi, Master of Time, on any player's turn, anytime you could cast an instant. Okay, so Teferi, Master of Time, costs 2 and 2 blue.
Sorry, that was a delayed buh.
Uh-huh.
Because he was doing that during your turn. Anyway, shut up, Chewy.
See how much fun it is to interrupt Mike. He's such a good sport about it, too.
It is pretty good, yeah.
So for 4 mana, starts on 3 loyalty, has that ability. Okay. +1, draw a card, then discard a card. -3. Target creature you don't control phases out.
In standard, phases out.
Standard, yes.
-10, take 2 extra turns after this one.
No.
And keep in mind that you really should be using that +1 ability every turn. I don't mean your turn. I mean every turn. Because one of the reasons that planeswalkers usually can only use their abilities during your turn is it controls how much loyalty they can gain and lose. But Teferi says, you know what? The rules say I can activate a planeswalker ability once each turn. It's the timing rules that keep you from using it during an opponent's turn because you don't ever have priority during an opponent's turn while the stack is empty and if you're not responding to anything or I don't want to misstate the rules because I'm pretty sure Mike's eye twitch, but you can't do them during an opponent's turn. Now you can, and that means you can activate them once during your turn and once during each opponent's turn. And for multiplayer, that's pretty important. Since the introduction of planeswalkers in multiplayer have kind of an interesting role because whereas some cards get better in multiplayer, like Consecrated Sphinx, planeswalkers on the whole get worse, just in general, because there's more people to attack them, and you still only get to use their abilities once a round. Every now and then you see one that breaks the rules. There was a Jace that was in Ravnica Part 2, Electric Boogaloo, that was actually pretty good at multiplayer. But this is something else. This is one that actually rewards you more. More opponents means more activations of these abilities. So, and then of course, if you get to that limit break, which no one should ever let you get to,
Right?
ever. You should basically just play this guy and expect to be able to draw some cards and concentrate some of their fire on him for a little bit. Oh yeah, and phasing in standard.
Now, phasing really is just a status change, like becoming tapped or being face up or face down or whatever. It's got some complicated nuts and bolts rules to make it work properly. But basically, if something phases out, the game just doesn't see it.
Right.
And anything attached to it phases out with it. So
And
if it has some equipment on it, if it has some R's on it, those also phase out. They're still there, but the game just can't see them. The game can't affect them, and it can't affect anything else in the game until it phases back in. Now, okay, it'll phase back in at the beginning of its controller's next untap step.
Yeah. The reminder text here is pretty succinct. Treat it and anything attached to it as though they don't exist until its controller's next turn. I swear when I was reading this the first time, I almost read it as pretend it and anything attached to it don't exist. And I'm like, okay, wait, go back, read. Oh, okay. Well, it's still the same thing.
That would have been cute.
Yeah. He's like, la, 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 you don't see me.
Yeah. As we said on Monday Night Magic, if you ever want a really good read, go read about the history of the rules of phasing. But, oh my god, I just heard from Dirk.
Okay.
He said, sorry about that. Phone was downstairs and lost track of time.
Wow. I'm glad he's not dead in a ditch.
That's an understatement.
Next time I see him, I'm going to have to tell him what's what.
Hey, Dirk.
I'm like, oh boy, I definitely fell into something.
Dude, we were worried. We're like, is Dirk okay? Is the family okay? Did he have to, like, run out and leave his phone? What? Nah, Dirk was upstairs.
Well, I'm glad I didn't have to come and, like, knock on your door because apparently I'm not supposed to leave my house. So,
hey, buddy.
So, yeah, I definitely apologize for that, guys. We've the kids and I, the boys and I, have had this thing this week where we go upstairs and we watch Avatar.
That's worth it. Can I come over next time and then we just won't do a show?
how
Oh,
far
absolutely. We can do that all next week. We're still on the first season.
Okay.
I just finished it last week, and I kind of want to watch it again.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
Well, Trevor's never seen it, or if he has seen it, it was back when we were still living in Burlington.
Oh, good lord!
So that means he probably wasn't old enough to remember anything of it. So he's technically watching it for the first time this go around, and we just finished up the Jong Jong episode.
Ah, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're okay, Dirk.
Yeah.
I apologize for concern and everything. It's been there's been a lot going on since Chelsea got home.
Okay.
So
you are going to be able to stay with us?
yes.
Well, there was some magic news, and I'm going to ask you one question that's going to summarize all of the magic news. Dirk.
Yes.
Racism good, racism bad.
Racism is bad.
There you go. That's all the news.
I distracted him. Mwahahaha.
It happened. Dirk just phased in. Thank you, Gloppy.
right.
Yeah, that's what happened.
And now we're talking about previews.
Yeah, we went over all the racism, and now we're on M21.
Yes.
So, hey,
Is
Dirk.
there racism in M21?
No, the racism in Wizards of the Coast.
Yes.
Oh, I'm glad I missed that discussion.
That's okay. There's a link in the Discord chat you can check out later. But do you have you opened the card image gallery?
No, not yet.
Oh, dang it, man.
Well, he just got here.
Have you
There we go. I just opened it. There we go.
Have you opened the Encyclopedia of Sandwiches?
I opened one last time I opened an Encyclopedia Britannica. That was not all that long ago, but
No one cares about Britannica. We're talking sandwiches. Mike, there's a picture that's been going around on the internet of the Encyclopedia of Sandwiches, and Mike dropped it in the Discord chat right before we started the show. In case anyone's going, what in the hell are they talking? This is all stuff that already happened, but you guys weren't here for it. So,
Right.
hey, Dirk, you remember phasing?
That is the appropriate response.
There's a card in M21 that says target creature you don't control phases out. You believe that?
wasn't phasing something like it disappeared for a turn and it came back into play, or
That's it.
Yeah, that was anything that had phasing. It was only there every other turn, but that's pretty much been dropped because it's awful. But now Teferi can just phase things out for a minute, until
oh god,
what is it?
color
It's controller's
Teferi's
next.
blue, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a new Teferi card, and he's a planeswalker, and you can activate his loyalty abilities once a turn, at instant speed.
During
Why
any-
is his card on here 8 times?
Oh, are you looking at the variants?
Oh yeah, you're on the
Yeah,
variants.
okay, so there's 4 different normal arts for him, and then there's like 4 different special frame versions, and then there's the borderless version, and it's just complicated.
Teferi just couldn't stand to only be in the set once, so
Yeah, so
On the
Teferi has different, and I use that term loosely, arts.
I like.
The color treatments are different.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, obviously the third one is the best one because purple, but this is just, this harkens back, and let me get on a small soapbox just for a second,
Here
to
we go.
the terrible business practices at WotC lately. This is a mythic that's got something stupid like 9 versions and then foil and not foil or something. It's just, it's freaking ridiculous. And they know that people are going to try to collect them, so they can do crap like that, and it's free money. But it just bothers me, especially since the art, literally the only thing that's different is the swirly bits around him.
And like
Yeah.
I think there's something like in the background, or
Maybe.
like the couple of them, like Chewie's saying about the swirly bits, the blue magic-y time dilation thing. It's causing the background to be a little bit different, but that might be due to the time dilation thing.
Yes, they
The
look-
Doctor Strange messing with the space around him.
Yeah, I think the background
Effect.
itself is the same, but it's just the swirly treatment that's different.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just frustrating.
I mean,
It's like if you took the cards and you flipped them like a comic strip, or like a comic strip really fast, then you would see like a Doctor Strange effect is what would happen.
Oh, dude, that would actually be really cool.
There we go.
Yeah.
So I have to go out and spend $800 and
Yeah,
get
like all 45
foil.
variants. You can put them in a flip book.
And then I'll make them into a flip book, and I'll just watch someone that's financially responsible cry as I just flip through it over and over again. And I think
Slowly wear the cards down.
the 666th time that I do it, I'm going to open a portal to somewhere really bad. So this sounds like a great idea. So
You know what?
Liliana,
I bet that portal will actually open to 2020. Damn it.
oh dang it! Oh my God!
Time warp back to the beginning of the year.
Worst Groundhog Day ever would be like any time in the last 2 weeks, and you wake up and all hope of humanity reclaiming itself is just gone. Wow, sorry.
The worst Groundhog Day is 2020.
All right, Liliana, dear Lord, for the love of God, Liliana, Waker of the Dead, is awesome. I'm taking this one. You can't stop me. Liliana, Waker of the Dead.
I mean,
for
I could just kick you off the call, but no, go for it.
2 and 2 black, 4 mana. I mean, sorry, 4 loyalty. I'm just gonna keep talking, and that way, if you hear the sound of my voice stop, you know that the man has put me down. Liliana. She's mythic, of course. +1. Each player discards a card. Each player, mind. Each opponent who can't loses 3 life. That's a lot. -3 loyalty. Target creature gets -X until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your graveyard. If only you had a way to get cards in your graveyard, like from discarding. -7. Limit break. You get an emblem with, at the beginning of combat on your turn, put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. It gains haste. Nothing about sacrificing it in a turn, nothing about exiling it if it would leave the battlefield or any of that stuff. You just you get a creature from a graveyard, it's yours, and it has haste.
Wow, and that just happens every turn, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Jesus.
You thought you had to destroy Teferi before he got his limit break. Well, I mean, you do. But
you remember when limit breaks were just do one thing that happened once?
Yeah, it was do one big thing that will almost certainly win you the game on the spot.
right. But
And
emblems,
someone said emblems.
but emblems are more like you may or may not win right now, but you're gonna make it. It's gonna be harder for you to lose. Let's not forget you don't have any way of interacting with emblems as of right now.
Mhm.
So
Well, are they considered permanents?
no,
No, don't they live in the command zone?
yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
they are not permanents. They are not tokens. You cannot stop them.
Yeah, thus far they have printed nothing that interacts with emblems in any way.
I think the only way you could get rid of them is if there was something that, like, if they reclassified them as something on the command board.
I mean, I'm sure one day they'll, if they keep printing emblems like they have, I'm sure one day they'll have to be like, and they'll make some card that's got some draw card effect and destroy a target emblem, or figure out remove an emblem from a player or something
like that.
Because every time they've said nope, we're not gonna do this, then after a few years they do.
Yeah,
like cards that won't directly target planeswalkers.
Right. But as of now, there's not the only way to prevent an emblem is to either destroy the planeswalker, kill the player, or concede. So take your poison. But that is Liliana.
Oh, or apparently, according to Mike's answer to a rules question in chat, restart the game.
Oh, I can see that.
Which I was wondering if Karn did that.
Yeah, when Karn restarts the game, emblems don't carry over.
And then so Random Keho asks, so I didn't have to wonder.
That's
Thanks,
one
buddy.
very specific answer to this. But yeah, I like the fact that something about her art reminds me of her legendary creature flip card art. Something about it. It's just very evocative of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I like that she's wearing purple. Because purple.
Hey, Dirk, do you like Chandra cards?
Doesn't matter, because Dirk has to read Garrick, so I'm reading Chandra.
Okay. Dirk does have to read Garrick.
So Chandra, Heart of Fire, for 3 red is a 5 loyalty planeswalker. +1. I haven't read this either. Discard your hand, then exile the top 3 cards of your library. Until end of turn, you may play cards exiled this way. Oh, okay, that's cool.
Oh, it's a teeny tiny Wheel of Fortune.
With the limited... With a time limit on it.
Yeah.
May not want to activate that one the same turn you cast her, but especially if you're curving out.
All right, her second ability is another +1. Chandra Heart of Fire deals 2 damage to any target. Whoo!
That's what you do when you play her.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
I like throwing around free shocks. Wha!
Her original Chandra Nalar is not looking so great compared to this.
I mean, she didn't look great at the time either, so. And then -9. Search your graveyard and library for any number of red instant and or sorcery cards. Exile them, then shuffle your library. You may cast them this turn. Add 6 red.
Mana 2 mana. Sorry, I'm old fashioned.
Wow.
That's a really cool, exciting red limit break. I like that.
Dude, that's baller as hell.
Is Past in Flames a sorcery or instant? I think it is.
It is.
Yes, it is.
Costs less than 6 mana.
It does. It costs 5.
And there's nothing saying that you can't also cast other spells this turn. Like
Correct. Yeah.
using, I don't know, your regular lands and stuff.
I don't get it. Okay, yeah, that is a limit break that is seriously kick-ass without, like... It doesn't have the same... Like, Basri and Liliana's both have this, like... This, like, creeping inevitability. Like, I can't win now because of this, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas Chandra's is more of the one big thing, but it still doesn't say, hey, you win the game.
Yeah. You gotta
Unless you do like Stark said and get 3 lightning bolts and 3 lava spikes.
Oh, that's just rude.
That'll do it.
Yeah, I do like that this has any number of them. So
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
yeah. So Dirk, there's a new Garrick. I actually haven't read this Garrick myself. I
didn't even know it had been revealed either. So yeah, hey Dirk, what's he do?
So Garrick Unleashed for 2 and 2 green. He starts off with a loyalty of 4. First ability is a +1. Up to 1 target creature gets +3/+3 and gains trample until end of turn.
Ow.
That seems good.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't have lifelink in addition to it, that's all. That's what matters. Second ability is a -2. Create a 3/3 green beast creature token. Then, if an opponent controls more creatures than you, put a loyalty counter on Garrick Unleashed.
Holy crap, that's cool.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
So it's always 2 loyalty, make a beast. But if you're behind, it's 1 loyalty, make a beast.
It's effectively. Now, if he only has 2 loyalty and you activate this...
You're correct.
Okay.
Yeah, he goes away.
Okay. But still, really good.
Mm-hmm. And then his limit break is a -7. You get an emblem with, at the beginning of your end step, you may search your library for a creature card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library.
Oh, they did it. They did it.
You knew it was going to happen.
They did it. Well, let me just say, it is so nice to see Garrick uncursed again after the events of Throne of Eldraine. Just being his own man and not like, well, cursed.
Yeah, it is nice to see good old beast making Garrick again.
Yes.
Look, he's all buff. He's got no shirt, but he's got a big ass cloak. Yeah.
How did he get uncursed? I think I've missed this one at some point.
Did anybody else read the novel?
I didn't know.
No.
All right. The very short version is...
Don't believe you. Oh.
Will and Rowan was being pursued by Garrick while he was under the thrall of the curse. And Will actually sacrificed himself to try to save Garrick, and in doing so, you remember how each of the 5 kingdoms on Eldraine has a mythical artifact, like the magic mirror, the circle of loyalty.
Yeah.
The black one, the Cauldron of Eternity, has technically been lost for generations, and every now and then the Elf Queen promises to marry somebody, and then sends him out to go find the cauldron to prove that he's worthy, and nobody ever comes back. That's because the cauldron apparently only shows itself to someone that's willing to give up their own life, and will essentially very nearly drowns himself to try to save Garrick, even though Garrick was cursed and tried to kill him at the time. And being in the cauldron like absorbed the miasma from Garrick until he was purified. So he came out, and he was still very much like the hunter, but he wasn't consumed by madness and chaos anymore. So redemption. And then he was still like,
awesome.
I've got to find Oko and kill him, but for me, not because I have a compulsive urge to do so. Let's go find Oko.
Nice.
It was great. And the book, actually, the Throne of Eldraine book, was definitely worth a read. So
That was
the
the
Wildered
Wildered Quest or
Yes.
Wildered Quest. Yeah, that.
Quest. Yes. Yep. So I think that does it for Planeswalkers. There are other mythic cards. There are legendary creatures.
Oh man. There's hang on, let me jump over to the promos. We have to do the buy a box because it's adorable.
Is it a buy a box? I thought it was just a regular, but I don't see it on the regular page. It
Yeah,
makes me a
that's
little sad.
yeah.
Wow. Dang it. That means I can't open one of these and draft it?
Correct.
Dang it. Oh well.
Well, hey, you want to read it then?
Sure. Because I saw this and I was like, yes. And the rest of my family loved it too.
Yeah, I've been sending this to non-Magic players, and they all go, ho, 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 ho. And I'm like, yep.
Yeah. So this is Rin and Seri, Inseparable. Side note, they've been doing a lot more of that this and this, like Fire Song and Sunspeaker kind of stuff. And yeah, it's cool. Sometimes it gets a little confusing, but it's all right. For 1, a red, a green, and a white. This is a 4/4 legendary creature. It's 1 creature, but it's depicting 2, so we have Dogcat. Legendary creature, Dogcat.
I think that's because Cat Dog was trademarked by Nintendo or something. Not Nintendo, Nickelodeon. Wrong in company. I almost said wrong in word, but no. wrong in company. Shut up, Chewie. You're making it worse.
So, while you have Ren and Seri, whenever you cast a dog spell, which is just an awesome phrase, create a 1/1 green cat creature token. Whenever you cast a cat spell, create a 1/1 white dog creature token. So casting a spell of the one type will get you a token of the other. For a red, a green, and a white, and tap Ren and Seri Inseparable, deals damage to any target equal to the number of dogs you control. You gain life equal to the number of cats you control. Any cat owner would probably tell you this should really be the other way around, because hell hath no fury like a cat that's been spooked. But I see what they're going for here.
Last week when we didn't record a show and we didn't stream, Brian actually had to get up and go see what the hell that sound was downstairs.
Yep. Because a cat activated my sensor, my hands-free faucet, trying to lick something that I think that was in the sink, and got really spooked.
He was like, I just heard a crash downstairs. Oh, and Carrie texted me. Yep, okay, I thought she was still down there. I'll be right back.
Yep.
He
And
came
it was
back,
a
and I was like,
text
was it cat related? He goes, yep.
So, cats and dogs living together.
But see, there's
Hey,
already a card called Mass Hysteria, so.
But it's in red, right? So you can run it in a commander deck with
It's
this.
true.
Yes, yes, you can.
So yeah, that's adorable, and I love it. And also, it's pretty good too as a card. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
I really
it's
didn't
not
know- I
just
didn't realize it was a promo. It makes me sad that I can't open it in a draft.
yeah. I love that it's not, when you play a cat, draw a card. When you play a dog, draw a card. Like so many of the multicolor commanders with a theme. As Stark is fond of saying in the Discord server, whenever you draw a card, draw a card. It's just how they design legendary creatures these days.
Yeah.
And this, which I totally love and I have to steal all the time. But, like, this doesn't do that. It does something that's actually, like, neat and fun and build-aroundable. And that's so cool.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay. So, what do we want to do now? Should we... maybe we should hit the... because we don't have much time left. Should hit the, like, the legendary creatures?
You want to do that, or do you want to do
They're-
the remaining mythics?
Well, because the legendary creatures are neat, because most of them are, like, old.
Yeah, a lot of them are, because this set is very like all Teferi all the time. A lot of them are from Mirage Block, like not the actual card, but the figures they represent.
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
hey, Mike,
Yes.
tell us about Mangara, would you?
Okay. So, you mean like read the card or tell you about Mangara?
I mean, we'll read the card first, but
Okay.
whichever. Both, maybe? I don't know.
So Mangara the Diplomat, for 3 and a white, a 2/4 legendary human cleric at Mythic. Has lifelink. Whenever an opponent attacks with creatures, if 2 or more of those creatures are attacking you and or planeswalkers you control, draw a card. Whenever an opponent casts their second spell each turn, draw a card. So, whenever your opponent draws a card, draw a card. Yeah, we accidentally landed on one of these designs. But this is them experimenting with different ways for white to draw cards, which is a problem, which is a distinct problem with it in the commander format that people have been raising for a while. And here is them exploring, there's a lot of things. There are a lot of cards we've printed in white that say, target player can't do something that could just be rewritten as whenever target player does the thing, draw a card, And that's what they're experimenting with here. If they target your stuff, if they attack you, you get cards. No, not if they target your stuff. I read that wrong. If they cast too many spells
Yeah.
or attack you with too many things, you get to draw cards.
Which, like, I know I complain about that a lot, but in this particular case, I like this card because of the experimenting with white card draw thing.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, if they're casting multiple spells, at least one of them's going to target your stuff, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
see, Stark even just said that. So, yeah. So, yeah, who is Mangara?
Okay, so Mangara is an important figure from the original Mirage Block story and was trying to broker a peace deal between the major players there. I've forgotten so much about this.
Oh, well, I mean, I thought you had it ready. That's why you asked. So, if not, don't worry
No,
about
I asked because I didn't know which question you were asking.
it. Oh, okay.
Quick, put them on the spot.
Done.
Mike, what color is 5?
Blue?
Chartreuse. Duh.
Okay.
All right, so that's Mangara. Mangara is a very old character in Magic from back about the time that I stopped playing. Even before that, the time I stopped playing, because that was 2 sets later. I had Mangara's tome, and I think Mangara was named on at least one other card.
Was Mangara the one that was in the Amber prison?
Yes.
All right, that's
Yeah.
where I saw him referenced.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so let's see. What else do we have that's legendary?
I see a guy in black. I don't see anything in blue.
Yeah, I don't see anything in blue.
In black, it's Vito. You know, my cousin Vito.
My cousin Vito. Yeah, there he is. Okay. What's that do?
Well, yeah. Have you read him? You should read him.
I have, yeah. This is one of the rare ones that I read and went, it's okay. Vito, Thorn of the Dusk Rose. Wait, Thorn of the Dusk Rose.
Yeah. Elinda the Dusk Rose was an important character in Ixalan.
Right, there we go. I'm like, that sounds familiar. It does!
Yep.
For 2 and a black is a 1/3 legendary vampire cleric, who's rare. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. That's a card.
Yes.
Uh,
I don't remember right now.
all of those run together because I have to be careful in the Kervek deck because I can't run them both or it's an infinite combo.
Yeah, it's either Sanguine Bond or the other one. I can't remember the name of the other one right now.
I can see it in my head, but
I could see the art, but okay, so yeah. And then for 3 black, creatures you control gain lifelink until end of turn. Ah! Block or don't block, I don't give a damn. I guess you should probably block, because otherwise you're going to lose it twice, idiot.
Should
but
probably
you're still
block.
getting in. If it's enough damage to kill them, or then they're dying either way.
But yeah, I like Vito Thorn of the Dusk Rose, even though the name is a bit much.
Yeah.
I think my cousin Vito is probably just where I'm going to stick with him. Yeah, thanks, Brian.
You're welcome.
That's a good one.
Mine actually went straight to Vigo, as in
He is
Vigo!
Vito! Huh? You're like the buzzing of flies to him. Oh, I like that too.
He would probably love to go on about all of his titles, and you'd be like, yes, you've told me this already. So speaking of people with grandiose titles, in red we have Gadrak, the Crown Scourge. This guy is weird.
Gadrak, that sounds like a bad video game villain.
It does, doesn't it? Who's at the end? Oh, Gadrak.
Yeah, you have to fight Gadrak, and he's got like 3 forms. Like, what's
Yeah.
his name again? Gadrak? Get the hell out of here.
So Gadrak, the Crown Scourge, is a legendary dragon. Those are cool. And for 3 mana, 2 and a red, he's a 5/4 flyer.
Whoa!
But he can't attack unless you control 4 or more artifacts. He can still block all day long, but he's one of those hoarding type dragons.
Oh.
At the beginning of your end step, create a treasure token for each non-token creature that died this turn. You know what's great about multiplayer? This doesn't say whose creatures they have to be. So you play this, and then you play some other guys, and you're like, okay, are you gonna blow up my other guys and wake up my Gadrak, or are you guys gonna go after each other? And not to mention, they are treasure tokens, so you can use them for mana and stuff. Plus, you can also play your own artifacts. Just a thought.
Well, this guy's neat.
Yeah.
The funny thing is about him too is that you can attack with him at the beginning, with like the attack step, and then during your second main, you can spend all those the treasure tokens.
Yeah. Absolutely true. And if they block, and you kill something, then they're giving you another treasure token.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's neat.
Yeah.
I don't think he's that good.
No, that's the thing is you can play around this, and especially in like a duel, like, okay, I said I wanted to draft the dog cat, but this I'd open and draft and be like, and I mean, yes, it's a 5/4 with flyer. They can block all the things, but you're never attacking with it unless they let you. So,
It seems, like I said, I love the like design space that they're working with here, but I don't think he's that great. Now watch, he's gonna get banded standard or something because I said that. But
Four,
I see him-
four artifacts isn't a trivial thing to ask.
no, it's not.
yeah,
yeah.
I think if it was 3, he might be really good.
Mhm.
Like I can play 3 Moxes all the time, but that 4th one.
I mean, you can only have 5 in your deck anyway, so.
True. Well, depends on what kind of Mox we're talking about.
Oh, yes, that's true. That's true. Sorry.
So there was a
Mike
rules question
immediately-
in chat that I wanna
Mike
point
immediately
out.
jumps to the old school Moxes. But
he asked if you wrath and then play him, does he see the stuff dying? And yes, and it's because the way it's worded is at the beginning of your end step, create a treasure token for each non-token creature that died this turn. So it doesn't matter if Gadrak saw them die or not. If he said, whenever a non-token creature dies, create a treasure token, then
Yeah.
that wouldn't work. But he doesn't say that. He just says, at the end of the turn, the game goes, did anything die? Okay, get some treasure. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
why that works.
Yeah, the triggering event for the ability is the beginning of the end step.
Yeah.
You know, that's the only thing that needs to happen to get the ability to trigger.
Yeah. It's all right. And then there was one more, no, 2 more, because look, Azusa Lost But Seeking is getting reprinted. What?
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's one of the first cards that I saw and actually like double took. I'm like, is this a carry card? Is she messing with it, or are they messing with us rather? But no, this is real, really for really real. Carrie likes to post really convincing fakes, by the way. That if you stop and think about it, you're like, but if you don't stop and think about it, you'll get caught. And Carrie has caught me many times.
Not my wife, Carrie.
No. This is Carrie actually has a new Twitter account where they're posting the funny stuff. It's not on the Still Carrie account anymore, but I can't remember what it is. But yeah, Carrie is a mess, I think is a word. But yeah, Azusa, by the way, you may play 2 additional lands on each of your turns, just in case you don't know what Azusa does. As a 1/2 for 2 and a green. Azusa's been a giant commander staple for freaking ever. And if I remember correctly, she's kind of expensive, so this is a very welcome reprint at rare. Okay, so where were we going? How do you say her name? Jolrail?
That's what I would say, Joel Rail.
Okay.
I'll let you figure it out.
Jolrail Monvuli Recluse. Didn't we see Jolrail on something? Was she a commander?
I think she was in a commander set.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if she was as a commander, but it's a card.
Yeah. So hey Dirk,
Mm-hmm.
you've been typecast and she's green, so what's she do?
Well, for 1 in the green, that's how much it costs to play her. She's a 1/2 legendary human druid. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 2/2 green cat creature token. So, and then her second ability is for 2 and 2 green, or sorry, 4 and 2 green. My bad. So grand total is 6. Until end of turn, creatures you control have base power and toughness XX, where X is the number of cards in your hand. If only I could get that into the snake deck.
Oh dear Lord.
And to answer your question, Chewy, no, Joel. I mean, there are only 3 cards with Joel Rail's name in the title, and they're from like the last time one was printed was Joel Rail Empress of Beasts showed up on the time shifted sheet.
Oh, Jor-El already had a card.
Yeah.
That's okay, because Empress of Beasts was the name in my head.
I think I built a commander deck around her at one point and played her like 2 times and then took it apart because it just wasn't that good. I think. I like this version better.
Well, yeah, this version's pretty freaking good. And I love the green card draw getting something. Like this, instead of something, something, draw a card, it's when you draw cards, something, something.
Mm-hmm.
So I like it. Plus, yeah, giving all of your creatures a base power and toughness is kind of funny. Yeah. Okay. Are there any down here in... No, there aren't. So there's a thing that was mentioned earlier that in the chat that we forgot to mention. Hey, Dirk.
Mm-hmm.
Do me a favor. Read Teferi's tutelage in blue. We'll see if Dirk catches it.
Oh, you're looking for it. Okay. I thought you were reading it silently to yourself. I was like,
Okay. So Teferi's tutelage, enchantment, 2 and a blue, whenever Teferi's tutelage enters the battlefield, draw a card, then discard a card. Whenever you draw a card, target opponent mills 2 cards.
Did you catch what's different?
No.
No, because
Word mill.
it's been a thing that everyone says for so long
Yep.
that Dirk's brain just parses it like it's normal. Yeah, they actually have made the word mill an official card in Magic, or official name in Magic. Word, an official word. God almighty brain, work function properly. Shut up. So yeah, before this would say target opponent puts the top 2 cards of their library into their graveyard. And they finally just decided, you know what, we're going to name it mill.
Everybody has been saying it that way forever.
Forever.
It does have reminder text on it, too.
Yeah. Which is for the newer players because that's what everyone calls it already.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that I just think that's cool that they've saved some screen real estate by using the word mill. Apparently they tried so hard to come up with other words for mill, and then they decided, I give up. So yay.
Yeah, they might as well just gone with that and just left it.
Yeah, they could have done that years ago. They were stubborn. Let's see. All right, let's do just a couple more neat cards.
I have one I've been staring at.
Okay, what is it?
It's a common card. Don't hate me for this. It's in white.
I bet I'm pointing at it.
What's it? What is it?
Is it Rambunctious Mutt?
It is so rambunctious.
I'm glad you said that because I was gonna if you didn't.
It was. I looked at this yesterday and this wasn't here, and I'm just scrolling and I saw Pack Leader. I'm like, oh, he's a good boy, and then I looked over. I'm like, what is this? So it almost doesn't even matter what it does, because the art. But Rambunctious Mutt for 3 and 2 white is a 3/4 dog. It's common, so 5 for a 3/4. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. I really like that. And in limited, that's great because you're never going to accidentally blow up your own stuff. 3/4 for 5 is fine. The art is to die for. And then the flavor text, because there's a goblin or someone. No, that's not a goblin. Like a wizened old man with curly hair out the sides. Like, look at him like, no. And the flavor text is emphatic words with powerful gestures. Clearly, this was playtime. So, I know that there's mythics and, random stuff, but I mean, come on, between this guy and Selfless Savior.
It's so great. Because look at him. He looks so happy.
He looks so happy. So they went all in on the dogs on this set. Like, that's why I was wondering, like, do we have a mechanics article? Because how much the mechanics article is just like, check out our dogs.
And then right next to him is the pack leader.
Yeah.
Who I have seen people refer to as the goodest boy.
He is the best boy.
For 1 and a white is a 2/2 dog. He's rare. Other dogs you control get +1/+1. And whenever pack leader attacks, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn to dogs you control. Not to other dogs you control.
Mm-hmm.
Just to dogs you control, because he's a good boy.
And he's not legendary.
Oh, no, he's not. He's a good old-fashioned dog lord.
Yeah. All hail the dog lord.
And then
Hey, Mike.
if you look just right below these, there's Selfless Savior. Oh
Yeah.
my god, look at him! He's so derpy!
I mean, the art is fantastic. The flavor text doesn't really fit for this. The flavor text fits for what the dog does. But
Yeah.
it's way too serious for this guy. Oh.
So it's a 1/1 for 1. Sacrifice Selfless Savior. Another target creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn. And the flavor text is, she raised him from an orphaned pup and gave him a life of love. With his last act, he thanked her. But the art is just a dog wearing some armor that's derpy as hell. And I guess showing a dog getting, like, struck by a spear or something would have been probably, like, not a good look.
Probably.
So
But they
instead-
really went way the other way with this.
Yeah, so instead he's just, oh, he's a good boy. Oh, man. I'm more of a cat person, but oh my god, these dogs.
Yeah. I'm going to have to show these to Carrie later. She's gonna-
Right? Hey, Mike, did you see anything else that jumped out at you?
All right. I have a feeling a certain someone in the chat is going to send me an angry bobcat in the mail if I don't read Peer into the Abyss.
Right? He's only brought it up like 18 times in the chat.
This is some trippy art.
Also, yeah, don't look at this art like the full art, or like it'll come out of the computer screen and get you like it's the freaking ring or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, is this the ring? Because
Yeah, examining it too closely might cause you problems. So Peer into the Abyss, it will peer back into you. Be careful. For 4 black. It's a rare sorcery. Target player draws cards equal to half the number of cards in their library and loses half their life. Round up each time.
it's a fascinating card.
Yeah, 7 mana, draw a lot of cards
I mean,
and lose a significant amount of life, but you draw a lot of cards.
in standard, in brawl, in most constructed, you're talking about drawing. By the time you get to cast this, you're drawing 20 cards.
Yeah, 15, 20 cards maybe.
Mhm.
Maybe 25, 15 late game. In Commander,
Well, no, 25 wouldn't work because then you've only drawn 10 cards total.
Yeah,
that's true.
25 is too much, yeah.
So, but still, 20 cards.
Unless you're playing a Yorion deck, in which case, sure.
But in Commander,
Yeah, this card is just bizarre. Plus, the flavor text is by Braids. Remember her?
yeah.
Oh, don't be so dramatic. When your eyes bleed and your brain leaks out your ears, then we'll talk about lost sanity.
Yeah. I love so many of the callbacks here. So.
Thanks, Braids. Shut up, Braids.
I love that this can not only be a giant like draw spell, but it can also be a kill spell.
So, yeah, if someone is at 1,
Yep.
then you take half their life and round up, which is 1.
Yeah. Oh, but they get to draw, 10 cards.
Good job. Also, Brian, do you like the art on Village Rites?
It's great. It really reminded me of that one card from Innistrad that makes you sacrifice humans to our unholy lord. Yeah, this reminded me of that.
Cannibals. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the one, yeah. That's why I asked, yeah.
Yeah, Village Rites. The perspective on the art is just great. But for 1 black, the card is a common. It's an instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature, draw 2 cards. Clear, simple, effective. If the creature has a, dies trigger, that's great. The flavor text, though. You were so eager to take and consume, yet when asked to give, you refuse? Nom nom nom.
Cough, cough. Republican joke. Moving on. Wait.
Well, one more. What's really neat about this is that before now, like pretty much every card that said some variation of this cost 2 mana. Costing 1 is really nice.
Yeah.
Costing 1 at common and instant is all just kind of silly,
I mean,
yeah.
some of the instants in this, we have Grasp of Darkness at common in this set.
Oh, I didn't notice it was common.
2 black. Target creature at instant speed. Target creature gets -4/-4 until in a turn. Black has got it going on in this.
Wait,
set.
what was that you just did?
Grasp of Darkness. It's a reprint.
Oh, right. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Also, hey, look, Grim Tutor.
Yeah.
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 I think I just assumed that was on the reserve list, but
I think
clearly not.
a lot of people assumed it was on the reserve list.
Hang on, now I have to go look up Grim Tutor.
It was in a portal set.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Yeah, it was starter 99.
Oh, starter. Okay.
Okay. Now that I see the original art, I'm like, yep, okay, remember that card. Yes. So for 1 black, search your library. Let me read the current art. Search your library for a card, put it in your hand, shuffle your library, lose 3 life. For 3 mana at sorcery speed.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah, the best boy isn't in here yet, Al.
There's a best boy.
Yeah. Screw dogs and cats. It's a piggy. And it's Truffle Snout. And his name is Mr. Truffle Snout. And I love him forever. Because he's a happy piggy. But I guess we'll have to talk about him next week because he's not in here. Unless someone can find me. Well, I guess I could just go over here to the Mana Pool Discord. And scroll up until... Let's see. Open original. That should open it over here. Yeah, there we go. So this is Truffle Snout. The card itself, I didn't even read, honestly. But look at it. He's a happy piggy. Oh, here you go, dorks.
Well, I'm looking at it on the stream, so...
So Truffle Snout for 2 and a green is a 2/2 boar. And when he enters the battlefield, choose 1. Put a +1/+1 counter on Truffle Snout, or you gain 4 life. So, but whatever, but he's... Look at him. He's the happiest piggy that has ever lived. And this one is mine, and I've named him Mr. Truffle Snout. And I've never watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but I did the meme that came from it. Is I've had Mr. Truffle Snout for a day and a half, but if anything ever happened to him, I'd kill everyone in this room and then myself.
Oh, was that from Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yeah, I didn't know
never
that either.
watched
I had to look it up.
But I assumed it was a show I had never seen. Probably The Office or...
Actually,
Brooklyn
I
Nine-Nine.
also assumed it was from The Office. Is that
Or-
weird?
Or Parks and Rec, you know.
Ah, see, I had seen Parks and Rec. And then you might have seen it on the Twitter account. Chifuji made, oh lord, that's huge. Made this where he put my head and the truffle snout into the meme,
I've definitely seen the meme before, but so.
and it made me very happy. So thanks, buddy.
Chifuji's awesome.
Oh, I love a truffle snout. You can name your truffle snout whatever you like. Mine is Mr. Truffle Snout. Anyway.
Well, on that note, I mean, there's lots of other good stuff to go through, but it's 10:30.
Oh, wait,
Why
wait,
don't-
Brian, no. There's one card.
All right.
It's in red.
All right.
It's Fiery Emancipation.
Yeah, because that card is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yes. I remember trying to make Furnace of Wrath work and usually blow up in my face because that's what it does.
Literally.
Yeah. But Fiery Emancipation may look safe. I don't know. You got to be careful. Fiery Emancipation for 3 and 3 red is an enchantment. It's mythic. Not rare, but mythic. If a source you control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals triple that damage to that permanent or player instead.
Because that's perfectly normal, right?
Now, the only thing I would say is if you have anything that says deal X to all players, you're going to hit yourself pretty hard. This does not say if it would deal damage to an opponent. Yes, it is stuff you control, which usually is not going to hit you, but we're also talking about red here. So before you go jamming every kind of earthquake effect into the deck that you can think of, be careful.
Oh,
Yeah.
Boom.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I do like that it's you control and not just... So it's not just... I play this Furnace of Wrath and then I freaking die.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens
Except-
way too often.
Except this one costs more, and then you die harder.
Yeah, but this time you only die harder because everyone freaks out and attacks you, not because it kills you.
Right, right. Well, because you can't leave that alone. Think about Fiery Emancipation, then you play Chandra Heart of Fire, and you +1 her to deal 6 to something. You +1 her to deal 6 to something.
That sounds fine. No?
You have a funny definition of fine.
No?
I mean, it's 2 mythic cards, don't get me wrong, but
So, I guess we'll probably stop there, right? That
Yeah.
seems like a good place to stop.
I mean, like I said, there are other great cards here, but
just one thing, real quick.
What's that?
In blue, Spined Megalodon and Pursued Whale.
Spined Megalodon. Oh, okay, it's a shark.
yeah,
Hmm. And then
It's not a
Pursued
baby
Whale. It looks
Mm.
like their art could almost go side by side.
I can see that.
Yeah, giant monster jumping out of the sea.
Pursued
And
Whale
the
is
whale's
like
"Rah!" at it.
Pursued Whale is like Ahab, Moby Dick, right?
Yes.
Because when
Yeah.
it enters the battlefield, each opponent creates a pirate. With this creature can't block, and creatures you control attack each combat if able.
yeah,
And spells your opponents cast that Target the Whale costs 3 more to cast, and it's an 8/8 for 7.
Yeah, it's totally Moby Dick.
Oh, so yeah, it gives everyone an Ahab, and and it makes it harder to get because it called. I get it. Did it call me Ishmael? A Joel Rail. Hey!
Something that Spine Megalodon made me feel like is it's got hexproof on a common creature.
Mhm.
Oh
And
God, I didn't even read what that did. What the?
That was actually going to be the card that was like, okay,
I
this
mean,
is a fun one.
yeah, thankfully it costs 7, so
it does.
it's terrorizing everybody.
I don't know. This makes me nervous. When they came up with hexproof, and they actually gave it the keyword as opposed to Troll Shroud or this creature can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control. They admit they even did it too much. The big thing was Invisible Stalker. They did it too much. Geist of Saint Traft, whatever. Um, they did it too much. They did it on things that cost too little, and it was a bit like Shadow in that you couldn't really interact with your opponent. And lately, it's felt like they've scaled it back. They toyed a little bit with like hexproof from white or things like that, but either activated hexproof or hexproof that's more narrow. When I see hexproof on a common creature, even expensive, I go, because as recent events have shown, are they gonna be repeating the mistakes of the past? Because hexproof is nobody likes for their stuff to get blown up, but at the end of the day, stuff getting blown up is a balancing of the game. So
Also, while we're at it, it's a 5/7, and when it attacks, you scry 1.
there's that too.
Plus, the art is a. Well, okay, wait, we're still doing the show, so it's a big freaking shark. Because that's like a pirate ship that it's crushing between its jaws or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I would say it's a big F off shark, but there's no swearing on the mana pool most of the time. All right, so let's wrap it up then.
Right. So I'm gonna say my piece and then I'm gonna go because I'm tired. But hope everyone out there is staying healthy. I have 2 quick bits of news. First of all, I'm not gonna say keep my family in your prayers because I know not everyone responds to that, but I would say give my family some thought if you have a minute, because my grandmother did pass away, and I don't want to make anybody too sad about that because she was 104 years old. She had a fantastic life. She had 9 kids, and she raised those kids on nothing. They had nothing in the Great Depression. So they and World War II, that era. She was born in 1919, and she was a remarkable woman. So I would just say keep that in your thoughts. And then I would say I'm doing all right because we kind of saw this coming. I'm coping with that. The news I received today is that 2 of the courthouses that I work at, the 2 I primarily work at, they're both in the same county in North Carolina, closed. Like not in the middle of the day, but before the close of business. And it's been decided they will not reopen until June 22nd because, according to the report, multiple employees at the courthouses were tested positive for COVID-19. Yes, in case you thought all the other crazy events of the last couple of weeks overshadowed everything else, we still have a pandemic going on, even though we're trying to reopen and all that good stuff. Still going on. So I was texting with a district attorney, and I'm like, do you think we should get tested? And she's like, oh, I already have. And I'm like, you know what? That clinches it. I think it sounded like everyone in their office was, which good on the DA for making that happen. I'm going to go. So I went. I've been tested. I am told to expect a result within a couple days. And until then, because I have potentially been around these people, I'm not really to go anywhere. So I am officially entering self quarantine mode. So just, I guess, be thinking about that too. As far as I'm exhibiting no symptoms, I am feeling perfectly fine. I am doing this to be responsible. I am doing this to be responsible and to keep myself from passing it along to anyone else I might interact with. So just,
So what you're saying is you're doing the right thing.
yes, or I'm trying. And hopefully it works out well. So Dirk, needless to say, we will not be able to arrange any play dates this weekend
I
because
understand.
yeah.
As soon as
But-
you said that, I was like, well, that kills that one.
So yeah. Yep, I figured you'd want to know about that. Somebody, Skytonic asked, have they cleaned the courthouses? They're going to be. We're going to be closed for until the 22nd of June, specifically so that they can scrub every inch of the place of both courthouses and be safe before we reopen. And I imagine even then those employees probably won't come back right away. So life is okay. I'm going to miss my grandma. She was an important part of my life, but she had a wonderful life. Just keep that in mind. And then I'm not going to be going anywhere for at least a couple days. I'm hoping the test comes back negative. If not, then I'll do what I need to do. But otherwise, I'm just going to hunker down. So to everyone out there, I hope your lives are going well. Hope you cherish the people that matter to you and find the bright spots where you can, like good boy magic cards.
Oh my god.
And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and head out because I'm a little sleepy. Good to talk to you guys.
Night, B.
You too.
So, I was gonna say something. Oh yeah. Also, don't forget, COVID-19 is totally still a thing. So keep wearing your mask. I saw actually while we've been streaming, I saw that Kibler posted that Orange County is just fully opening back up and not requiring masks anymore, including gyms and stuff. And his post was a GIF that said "Welcome to the Apocalypse," and yeah, because no.
Like Orange County, California, or Orange County, North Carolina?
What? No, California.
Okay.
That's where Kibler lives. But nah, that's a bad look. So yeah, everyone, for God's sake, please keep wearing your masks and washing your hands, and don't go. I know places are open to eat again, but you could still get it to go and go home where it's safe. Please. Our state is one of the ones whose cases have been spiking hard lately. So that's nice. Yeah. Just, if you're going to protest, go for it, but wear a mask and
Try and maintain social distancing while you're at it.
yeah, which some of the protests are still massive, which is awesome. Keep it up. I would love to go protest, but I can't afford to quarantine myself for 2 weeks because I still have to DoorDash in order to, make the rest of the money to pay the rest of the bills. And I don't want to not make the money and not be able to pay the bills, but also don't want to, like Brian, possibly be exposed to the stuff and then spread it around to anybody I take food to accidentally. So I can't protest, unfortunately. Which maybe not unfortunately, because I have a lot of pent-up rage. So it's possible that I might, I don't know, flip off a cop right in front of me or something. That's probably not a good call. I don't want to be one of the problems, is what I'm saying. The protests have been, at least as far as I can tell over the last few days, have been mostly peaceful. A lot of the problematic police forces, like Seattle, have backed off. I think some cities are still a problem, but like by and large it's not as bad as it was in the early days of the protest when it was awful, and then the slightly later where it was awful. But anyway, be safe out there. Wear a mask. Wash your hands, all that good stuff that we've been saying for months. Okay? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, sorry. I wanted to append that to the end of Brian's final thoughts. So, hey, what you guys got? I have hiccups.
Well, for me, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster week. I finished up my grades and everything, and today they were today was the last day for the weird grading thing that we were doing for parents to say we want our kids to have this instead of this with the way the grades are recorded. So I'm done with that. My grades are locked as of this point, but it's nice to be done with that. But then at the end of the day, there's a survey that's going out for staff and parents to say what next school year will potentially look like, and none of the options are ones I like. It's things such as, do we have an A day and a B day week, or an A week and a B week? I kind of like that better than A day, B day, which, by the way, I have no idea what this is going to look like.
That's okay. They probably don't either.
Yeah, I'm like, when they say A day, B day, is A day going to be like a semester, and B day is going to be the second semester? How is that? Is it going to just be 2 classes? Like, A day is going to be 2 classes, and B day is going to be 2 classes. I have no idea how this is going to look or work. And so they're putting out a framework that I don't know what this is going to look like. There are teachers who teach A-day, B-day schedules, and what they do is they'll have like one class on A-day and another class on B-day, but they have those classes year long. But they also have 2 other classes that are normal classes that they have all 5 days of the week. And so they sort of just flip-flop these classes and everything. I honestly don't know what this is going to look like next year. I don't. There's a thing about, do we do, 2 days, 2 A days and 2 B days, and then Fridays are going to be study seminar days where they're like catching up on work, or they get digital assignments absolutely on a Friday. I have no idea what this is going to look like. And so I filled out that survey, and I'm just thinking, okay, which one of these piles of crap do I like the best, and which one of these do I not like the best? And I filled it out in the order I thought it would be best for me, and still thought, wow, I'm wading through a giant pile of crap with all 5 options. There's 5 different options of sorts that were provided, and none of them were good. in my opinion. So I have absolutely no. I'm thankful I have a job, and that I'm will have one next year. I am not thrilled by what my job will look like next year. I am not thrilled by what my kids are going to be going through next year.
Wait, children or
Because
students?
my students and my children.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I will do everything I can to help them, to make things easy in terms of making the material easily accessible to them and getting it to them in such a way that it should not require 15 gazillion steps. I do not know if there's going to be an A-Day, B-Day, and kids stay home on B-Day, how I will swing that. Because if I have to be physically at school, I don't know how my kids are going to be at home while I'm at school.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's the thing about next year that I have no idea. Next
Whoa.
year,
Sorry, I accidentally opened up the stream. And for those of you that just heard Dirk twice,
Yeah.
accidentally opened up the stream and it wasn't muted.
yeah. But like I said, I just don't know what. I'm glad that the summer is here so that I have a chance to sort of relax, collect myself and everything. But I'm also not looking forward. I don't know what next year's going to look like, and that's what's sort of making me nervous, making me not look forward to next school year. Usually I'm like, right now, if this whole thing wasn't going down and school was going to be back normal next year and everything, I actually would be excited for next school year. I am not terribly looking forward to next school year with the thought that somehow I'm going to be seeking after school care for the kids. I mean, the only thing that's going to go on is I hope the YMCA fully opens back up and they're somehow rolling with this. That's my only thing. That's the only way this will work.
Yeah, that's rough, dude. Hopefully something will get figured out somewhere.
Yeah. Well, one of my kids is old enough that he can ride the bus home, and he's old enough where I'm not terribly worried. My main concern is that he's just going to be at home and he's just going to just goof off the whole day and not do anything, and then I'm going to get home and be not happy with him because it's like, all right, did you do schoolwork and everything? And then all of a sudden I'm going to get all these excuses to why he didn't do any schoolwork, and then I'm going to be having to write him.
Because there were these video games that I had to play. Duh.
I know.
I feel his pain. I had all those video games that I had to play too.
Our family rule was during the week you were not allowed to play video games. The weekends you could play video games as all you wanted. But I also was involved in sports and everything, and so that occasionally cut into it. But the weekends were sort of, as long as there weren't any major projects, then Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays were times when I could play video games. I was not allowed to play during the week. But then whenever I got to high school, that sort of it was one where the rules got edited a little bit once you got a little more responsibility. But yeah, I just this is the fun thing with COVID and everything else. what's going on. And I'm trying not to, there's just too much other stuff that's going on right now. There's so much going on right now, statewide, nationwide, worldwide. And it just breaks my brain. Like I said, it's just a good thing that I'm trying to stay away from too many potential sources that could overload me, i.e. Facebook. I'm still enjoying that, not having to be on that.
I mean, yeah, Facebook is bad for you in virtually every conceivable way.
Yeah. And then the only other random thing from me, and then I'll close off, head out, is Chelsea got her cell phone, and that's part of what I was working on today when she got home, is because she had to log in and do some verification stuff, and as soon as she did that, I did all her phone stuff, so she's got a brand new phone, and I've set it up so that every time whenever she takes pictures, it uploads it to the cloud, to the Google Cloud, and it also uploads it to Amazon. Because we've got a Prime membership where, like, if you share it with Amazon Photo, it stores all your photos also. So we've got two separate clouds that are taking all our photos now. They're storing all the photos. So now
what could possibly go wrong with that?
Well, we don't take a lot of photos, but when we do, they're usually, family stuff, me with the kids. I've actually kind of gotten into the selfie thing with Penny and Trevor, with me in the picture, where I'm like, let's get a picture of this. And Trevor will do his goofy smile and peace sign or whatever sign he's throwing up and everything. He sees his friends do it, so he thinks it's funny. I'm just hoping that some of the signs that he's throwing up are not ones that later on, whenever it's like, oh yeah, here's him and me, that it doesn't cause somebody to be offended. Whenever he was a goofy little kid, didn't understand those things, didn't understand the ways of the world. So, but yeah, that's about all that's going on at this household. Okay. But yeah. And with that, I am going to go ahead and say have a good evening to all of you, and like Brian said, everyone be safe.
All right, night, Dirk.
Night.
I get the feeling we got all of that right here because he wasn't on at the beginning to get it off his chest.
Yeah. He missed his chance for the pre-show odds and ends.
So, Mike, what you got?
I don't know. I think I almost fell asleep at some point during that last part of the conversation. No major developments over here, I think.
All right.
That's fine.
Where are you at in Hearthstone?
Where am I at in Hearthstone?
Yeah.
I think I just got to Diamond the other day, maybe. I don't remember.
Nice.
I'm either in Gold 1 or Diamond 10.
What about Platinum?
What am I talking about? Gold 1 or Platinum 10?
Oh, okay.
I keep getting those colors mixed up.
Oh, it's because we know Bronze, Silver, Gold, and then there's other stuff that's sort of... what's the word I'm looking for?
It's just made up every time.
Yeah, it's just whatever up there. Word. I'm still down in Silver because I just play enough to finish my dailies and go on about my business because I have way too much other crap going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well then, hey chat, and viewers and listeners, I hope everyone has a fabulous period of time up until the next time that I talk to you. We're gonna do the Patreon stuff. Also, hey, if a certain, I say this apropos of nothing, if a certain really wealthy and famous and rich author that wrote things that you really love turns out to be a garbage human being, it's okay. You can still like the things that you liked before. You know, if they were about, I don't know, magic and wizards or something, just randomly plucking something out of the air. It's fine. I'm just saying. You know, if you still like those stories, I still like those stories and the movies. But it's okay to hate the author. I still love a bunch of stuff H.P. Lovecraft wrote, and he was an actual garbage human being. So, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Don't let anyone try to take that away from you, and don't feel like you have to lose something that means a lot to you just because the author sucks. It doesn't work that way. Okay. Also, trans rights are human rights. And if you don't believe that, then you can piss off with the people who left earlier when we said Black Lives Matter. Okay. But anyway, I'm just saying, I'm just throwing out just random things for no reason. All right, J.K. Rowling is a garbage human being, and just don't listen to anything she ever says, okay? There, I said it. She's hiding behind her well-intentioned science and logic and nonsense, and no, she's just garbage. Don't try to make sense of it. When trans people go, that bitch is crazy, don't listen to her, maybe don't listen to her, okay? Okay. Now, with that, hey, if you want to help support what I do with all of this content, because, hey, don't forget, there's still a YouTube video that goes up every day, and I do lots of streams on Saturdays. If you have Amazon Prime and you're in the U.S., I'm sorry that it's still the U.S. only. I'm really hoping they'll fix that at some point. We do watch parties on Twitch, where we just watch things. Like last week we watched... No. 2 weeks ago we watched The Disaster Artist and Zombieland. And then last week I got Bill on the call, and we watched the 2 Unico movies together, which was magical. Because Unico were 2 early 80s anime movies about a baby unicorn that the gods want to kill, and that part of the story literally doesn't matter. That's how weird it is. The first one kind of scared me when I was a kid, and the second one freaked me out when I was a kid. So Bill and I watched those together on stream last week, and it was awesome, and chat was there. Chat was awesome. And then this week, we're going to watch 2 documentaries. We're just going to keep switching it up and watching different things every week. And it's going to be great because there's so much crazy stuff and good stuff and weird stuff and bad stuff that we can watch. And I'm excited. So that's what we do on Saturdays. And usually we start the first one around 7 p.m. Eastern and the second one around 9 or so, depending on how long the first one was. So, yeah, if you have Amazon Prime and you're in the U.S., and I really hope they change that, then come hang out with us. They've all been a lot of fun. We watched Clue. We've watched some Star Trek The Next Generation. My voice just cracked because I just hit puberty last week. We watched... I'm sure there's been more, but I've been doing it for so long now that they've all run together. But, yay! Come hang out with us. But, oh... What the hell was that?
I don't know.
Might have been thunder? Or just something outside? I don't know. We've been having weird weather around these parts the last couple days, so it's entirely possible that there's like a 3-foot high tornado right outside my window, because that wouldn't surprise me at all. But anyway, so right, yeah, if you want to help support all of that ridiculous amount of free content, there is that is the wrong link. I don't even know what that link is. I have to go through my bookmarks and clean them out. Uh-oh. In early July, this page will no longer be available. Uh-oh. The order that I say these names is going to change, and it's going to trip me up for freaking weeks. Damn it. All right, so let's go. We've got Jason Doan, Kim Ho, Andrew Hunt, Al, Lance Delicious, Team You Hellas Haru, Connor Kennedy, John Morris, Alex Gonzalez, Scuzzo, Jeff Spencer, Stuart's Law, PJ McMullen, Casey, Danny Liao, Cody Buckowing, Jake Jansons, Jason Kaus, John Parker, Aleph Cat, Mike, hey! Every time I say Mike, I lose track. Here we go. Backwards Logic, ALK Alters, and the Beast Father, Aaron Goodwine. Thank you all so very much for your mythic lifeguard support. And to all of our lifeguards at every tier, because you quite literally pay the rent and let me keep doing all of this content. Like I said, there's one YouTube video every day, and there's, except for the day that I accidentally, a couple weeks ago, when I accidentally didn't release one, because I forgot to hit save when I made it public, which means it got added to a playlist, but just didn't go public. And I woke up the next morning, and I went, something's wrong. So I broke my own streak because I'm an idiot. But, whatever. Sometimes stupidity happens. Because it turns out you can't fix stupid. Well, you can, but it leaves a horrible mess on the carpet. So, yeah. But with that, I'm just going to stop. So, hey, the Mana Pool, everywhere. Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, it's all the Mana Pool. And Black Lives Matter, and trans rights are human rights, and just treat people like people. It's not hard. And wear a mask, and wash your hands. Damn it. Okay, so with that, this has been the Mana Pool number 592. Thank you all so very much for joining us, and go play some Magic. With the good boys. Oh my god, the good boys.